So I think most of you will know our next guest very well, but in case you don't, he's one of the most recognized and prolific composers in Southeast Asia. His music is very wonderful music, is often on the cutting edge, combining very modern techniques and a real quest for the exploration of instrumental colors, but always with a very profound and soulful poetic beauty. He embraces his multi-layered ethnic and cultural ancestry, and this is visible in the way in which he combines Asian and Western instruments or explores Asian rituals or even the art of calligraphy. But he's also a very prolific and active organizer and promoter in the Southeast Asian region. And this is best demonstrated through his work with Soundbridge, the music festival, in which he creates bridges between international and local artists, but also encourages young artists all over Southeast Asia to experiment with the development of musical idioms, often experimenting with interdisciplinary practices, collaborating with choreography, dance, visual artists. Okay, so Kee Yong Chong has a real contagious enthusiasm, and I've had the pleasure to work with him many times, and I'm really grateful that you could come today with this wonderfully blurry background. And I'll pass the microphone to you now. Good afternoon, Kee Yong.
Hello, thank you, JD. I'm so great to meet our Mafia godfather here. You see Dieter, Jonas, Michael. I think I want to say everyone good afternoon or good evening to everyone. And I always grateful to able to decide to back to South Asia for doing something, building some bridges and also and several with that topic for today. Although to talk about the memory of what we did in the past, but during the lockdown of this pandemic lockdown, I have quite a lot of thoughts about our past situation will continue or not, or everything will go to online, virtual, and the human side will be less, and then technology side or the virtual side have to be more dominant, and how the artists can continue, especially those traditional musicians. Will they going to still doing ritual in the village? And how about a composer? Will they still get commission to write something? And that is my thought during the pandemic. And so it's more like a self-reflection, and also recall the memory of what all my colleagues in the West and East try to help to build in Southeast Asia. So I will my talk with and then if you know me, you know this guy always taking a phone around every event, so taking photos. And then you will see in my presentation, they have a lot of photos, also videos, and then to show you in the past 10 years, what when I back from Europe and what we did in the region and what we try to build something. But some project might be die because of the financials, and some of the problem of the voluntary work is very hard because everything is more by your own initiative. If you're not supported by the institution or music school or foundation, as me as a freelance composer, that is also very difficult to help of all the institution and friends, colleagues around the region. We did make some quite a lot of achievement. So I will show you all this happening through my journey, building those for the composer and also artist, and also tradition, and also new music and different things. Show you the 50 And let's see. This since 2009, I think that is a important moment in Malaysia and also for the region to have the first gathering in this festival called KL Contemporary Music Festival 2009. And that's many years of exploring myself to both Eastern and Western culture. And you see, you are meeting many friends in 2009. This is my first time I know about our region. So I will not going to read all this text, but many of my work is emphasized on this, how I worked during the moment with the East and West, and come back to also cultural legacy. The local musician, KL Contemporary Music Festival, you will see there are many among these happen, like West come to East and meet East and West. You will see the ensemble mosaic come from Germany. Dieter Mark come from Germany. Didn't play your work at technical issue, but we did join and then give advice and sit on the chair of the composer. And also composer Mullich Eggert also come to conduct the ensemble and present his work. And I'm very grateful to this guy, Gaho and David. And he both have a passion to run this festival, even with facing a lot of difficulty. And in this festival, we built a 4 concert. The first concert we call We Build This City. So it's focusing on Malaysian composer. And then the next one is Song of the South Sea. And then it means most of the composer is come from the South Asia. So I have the fortune to meet Pak Selamat, Tony Babravo, and then Michael Asmara, and also Arnold Tai from Thailand. And they have a story of the Giladet have to come, but he has the problem with his passport. So they have many stories in this festival, but this also Naro came. So guests from our region, and we progress. And also Jonas, Crocodile Wits, will play by Gaho and Hong Kong New Music Ensemble. And I think that is a great moment. I remember we're still bringing the bird vista and all along the bus routes go to the next concert we call City After Dark. And this concert is a kind of community build up to know some composer were working with analogs and some composer using sophisticated program like Max NSP. And so they come, and some is using improvisation. So this is the first time I saw the vibrance of our Southeast Asia artists who can integrate different medium in their composition. So then you see those names. I make Otto and also who else? Jiradet, he didn't come, but Chong Shi and Li Guang and some Samsung from Hong Kong. So many of them. So I will play you a video clip, so you will see many people you might familiar. Okay, this is the concert Building the Future for the Young Composer Competition and Jury Showcase. So in this picture, you will see many young composers now become PhD doctor, future doctor. So in 2009 until today, yeah. And then the next thing is they are so lucky to pick by awarded a full grant by Goethe Institute to attend Darmstadt 2010 after KLCMF 2009. So now that is the first time I think they went to Europe to listen to the new music live. And then in the regions, we start to learning from different festivals around this region. So I went to Thailand International Composition Festival, and then Malaysia holding the MCC, Malaysians Young Composer Workshop. And then you will see also, there are many pictures you might know if you are a participant in that festival. So also Yogyakarta Contemporary Music Festival, 2010. And then 2010 of first, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first Manila Composer Lab.
That's the second.
Oh, the second, sorry,
Yeah.
Jonas.
No
So
problem.
the first Goethe Young Composer competitions and in Indonesia, we are having in 3 different cities. So Bandung, Yogyakarta, Jakarta. And then we do the rehearsal in Bandung with the ensemble Mosaic. And then with Kai Fatahila Gamelan Ensemble. And we select composer who root for this combination. And then we finally award a prize to the selected 3 composers. And then continue, and we have another event quite striking is thanks to Dietermark and also Peter Vils, Thomas, and Studio Music Fabric, and Anota, Ika Ho, and Ho Chong Shi, and Ruth, Michael Asmara to join us for the first Studio Music Fabric and ASEAN New Music Ensemble Workshop in Singapore, and Malaysia and Thailand. This is amazing because each country we organize our ensemble. So we have our small ensemble, and then we join together, become a big ensemble to join together with Studio Music Fabric. Present one major composer from the regions, and in this edition we present Michael Asmara, his new work in this program. And then in 2013, we have the second Goethe Southeast Asia Young Composer Competition and Workshop in Thailand. And this time, the criteria is for composer who root for the local traditional soloists with Western ensemble. So you can pick one guzheng with ensemble, or one erhu, or one gamelan instrument, or rebab with ensemble. I think we have the quite amazing rehearsal time in Thailand, in Mahidol. And finally, I want to talk about 2013, about Soundbridge. But mainly will focus on the young composer concert. I entitled it Soundbridge. So in 2013, we select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 composer. So they are come from different country. They have three from Malaysia, and then we have Singapore, from Thailand, and also from Indonesia. So they are all paired with one artist, and they're going to work together for previously for 3 months, and then finally they will present a kind of work in progress in Soundbridge of this concert. So this is our first edition, and I will play a short clip of this. and then this is the amazing years in 2014. We finally have the chance to went to Darmstadt with our local musician, young musician and composer, and by the help of the Studio Music Fabric, and thanks to Dieter Mark and Peter Will to continue this second editions, our Southeast Asia ASEAN New Music Ensemble to Darmstadt the first time. And this year we focus on the works also by the Southeast Asia young composer from Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and also one major works by Professor Jonas Weiss, and to be world premiere in the Darmstadt 2014. And the next is the Southbridge 2015, and this year's we do the same format, but we adding one more concert, Connecting City. Beside the 2013, we only have two concerts. One is Malaysian Voices, and one is a Southbridge. In 2015, we plus one concert called Connecting City. It actually is more want to introduce many composers around this world, but they're living that no matter what country they come from, but important they are living in different city. So the city can be very broad sense. Huh? So in Southbridge 2, we select 8 composer again. The composer come from Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, and Indonesia, and they all selected because some of them was nominated by different regions, established composer or institution. And I highlight, like for example, nominated by Professor Ho Chi Kong from Singapore, nominated by the director of MCL from Dr. Jonas Weiss, and nominated by the artistic director of Yogyakarta Contemporary Music Festival, Michael Asmara. And all these composers will also have a different master in their work. So, for example, there also some video clips you can. Okay, and the next of the Southwish is the 2017, and also for the young composer, in this festival we are able to adding new concepts we call mini lecturer from our good friends Daisuke. So he will do the reading and also about the lecture, and then also we were putting a new feature on the master classes from our guests. And we still in Southeast 3, this young composer we have the the composer come from the region, and you can look at the name if you like. Also the musicians, the festival ensemble, actually they are also our long time collaborator. So they are also work together from since 2009 from the KLCMF. And I will play you the making of this on this project.
Ghost.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Originality.
Okay, and then we go on to our next festival, 2019. I'll play you the the trailer of this festival. Okay, and same, we are this time we open up the Southwish 4 young composer concert, move from the Southeast Asia, and then we reach out to Asia, so Japan and also China composer, young composer. So in this concert, you have the composer come from China, Japan, Vietnam, and also Singapore, and you have Indonesia, and this is a short video clips.
We might have lost Kee Yong once more. Let me notify him.
Yes.
Oh, you're back. Good, good.
Okay, this is the four. So in this four edition of Southbridge Festival, I'm able to work with many of our musician, artists, and also young composers. So for me, actually, it's a learning process through this making of this happening, because most of them are trained in composition in their school. I mean, as a composer, you are very hardly come out from classroom to learn from other part of the world. I mean, the cross media or whatever you call it, it's quite. It all depends on your own initiative. You might go to do the field trip study by your own, and then finally you know the master, and then you start to want to work with the master. But for me, I think about can I do something and offer something from my experience as a composer, and I know the master, I mean the different artists in different fields. Maybe I can introduce them to work with a young composer who are willing to do this cross the bridge to work with the artist. So in the function of after 4 edition, some of them might grant the good experience to continue working with the musician and artists in their future project. Some might not. Some still keep their mindset on the very academic composition practice. But as I understand in our region, most of the artists or composer, we are multitasking. Many times you have to do everything as a composer, not only writing a notes on the paper, but also have to conduct, perform, and also learning this creative process. So for me, it's quite important to get on hand and then make it happen. So I will show you another small Soundbridge project I'm continue doing. Is a Soundbridge in Indonesia. So this is another example I want to show in this. I will play the video clips so you can. Okay, in this future study, I already organized for 3 editions. So since 2007, 17, 18, and 2019. So by the help from the Agong Gunawan, also one of our festival, Southeast Festival mentors, and also Michael Asmara and Okto Shihada, and also Anong Paris from Bali, from Ubud. So with this team of faculties, we select composer from different parts of the world to join me as the field trip journey. And the more important, because of time, because we already almost the end of this talk, the important message is the student told me that they are first time feel the sun, the warmth. The sun have meaning. It's not only morning, but also you can touch the warm feeling of this sunlight through the morning meditations class. So we have the 6 o'clock early morning waiting for the sun to arrive, and you take out your shoe and then you walk on the ground, and then you feel the nature, and in the same time you feel the necessary of this nature. Not only stay in your room, you know the sun is right, but you didn't feel this important. And also the hot water is very important for the city boy or girls, but for them they have to feel the cold water in the villages. So I think that is a good experience for a composer, young composer especially, when you are thinking about music only is working on paper or on certain platform to feel your convenient for you, but sometimes you have to come out from your comfort zone to feel the necessity of this music making. Especially you look at the kids in the village, they don't have any certificate. They make music because they believe and also their passion. The same Dr. Jonas Bai say, the passions had to be glows from the inside, not outside, not the prize, not the certificate, but the necessary of the music making or art making. So in this class of this future project, I think I bring some message to my student. As an artist, you have to be come out from your comfort zone. This is also learning from the culture around you. Thank you. I think I will end my talk here.
Thank you very much, Kee Yong. That is a wonderful summary of what has been, I think, a very important process for many people, and many of our panelists will be able to confirm this. I personally have attended the last 2 Soundbridge, and I thought there was some of the most meaningful musical experiences I've had in the last few years. Really inspiring music, and there's a sense that you really strengthen the creative community. So I think many of us could possibly share comments or questions. I can see within the panelists and the attendees, many people who have participated in those Soundbridge festivals. So I'd like to see if there are any questions or comments coming our way. Hi, Jonas.
Yeah, thank you. And Kee Yong, it's very stimulating, talk, and it's nice to see how actually everything really germinated from this event in KLCMF in 2009. I think. I mean, it's how our gathering there extended to different efforts from different people, different nations and different places, the Philippines and different countries. I mean, and apparently we just started the MCL at the time, and when I attended that, and I had Juro Kim and Elise, I think were both there, and
yes,
together with other, I think it really created this community thing, this notion, and our efforts in Southeast Asia are actually built on that community. What I'm really quite confused now a bit is the notion of Eastern and Western. I mean, how does that figure out in this notion of community, or is there a need for this? Is there actually? I'm really worried about even that categorization of Eastern and Western. Is there really a need for this delineation between Eastern and Western? I don't think it's a very effective kind of boundary or delineation at this point. Can you comment on that, please, my friend?
Yes, Jonas. Actually, can I answer your last question? Because during this pandemic, I think there are many students or friends asking the East and West and this issue, but how far is the East and how far is the West? So that is actually the border is what we all create, you know. So I just want to play fun with this highline. Actually, when I doing during the pandemic about the score guessing, who guessed the quiz, I wrote the composer who lived in the West, but he wrote like the East, something like that. So it actually is some kind of reflections. If you want to make this clear cut about East and West, it's so difficult for you to define what is East and what
Yeah,
is West.
just one last comment on that. So why define? Why even have terminologies of East and West? Why do we still have to go into that burden of labeling
Oh,
East or West?
actually, it's your own. No, it's just come of your own interpretation. What I wrote, actually, you will read through. Maybe you'll read from this side, but I will read from this side. So actually, for me, I write this is actually is some sort of statement because some young composer they are doubting about East and West. But for me, actually, I don't put as a definition. I just make some sort of because I was study in East and also studied in West. So, but I don't know what is the East and West in that year when I was young. But when I come back to Southeast Asia, I find this line is getting blurred. But when I was in Belgium, I try to hide the East and try to not using any East, Southeast Asia instrument, but I using the East aesthetic in the work, using within the Western instrumentation. So that is what I try. But when I come back to the Southeast Asia, I mix different media from different way. Yes, Dieter, you want to ask something, right?
Yeah, that would be really nice. I think we don't get along anymore in this dichotomy East-West at all. Besides, the West is very diverse, the East is very diverse. When we meet each other, it's very diverse. I would probably prefer we speak about individuals, nothing more in future. And everybody has his and her personal background and tries to find a kind of own culture, as I always say it. And what that own personal culture is supported by so many aspects and influences on a horizontal and on a vertical level. Horizontal means that what happens at the same time, and vertical is the individual historical tradition. And this is for me relevant that anybody finds his and her own personal position in this in this connection. And just one additional thing, okay, Christoph, I see your hand. Okay, I think what we still have to do is that, for example, what we tried in the AYE workshop, that we learn about very basic things about the respective various instruments. We learn about local Asian instruments, and we learn maybe in future also more about Western instruments. But this is a technical issue regarding the instruments and not about the artistic personality of a composer.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. And that is why when I saw some young composer works, they are writing in the Western notation with the very Eastern, how to say, artistic dreaming without practical issue in the score notation. I mean, that score can be very defined for what is the Western or Eastern way. Or for me, I can see the communicating on these two sides is quite not smooth. So for me, I think I agree with the Dieter say you have to build your individual with your artistic need, but you also need to learn the craftsmanship from the traditional instrument, what you say, the how to respect the instrument, but also you have to respect the Western notation function. So in these two, we have to make a balance, but the composer have to go through both sides. So that's what I mean. Go for the field trip study to understand either in the East or the West. I mean, the definition of the East and West is really depend on the composer himself or herself. So you can go further to study to the past and or the present. So for me, who going to show the light actually is the composer have to meet the right mentors. So the mentor, like you or here, giving a guide, kind of a guardian, actually is very helpful. So my role as a teacher, I would like to offer some platform they can experience themselves. So that is what I create Soundbridge Festival and also the Soundbridge Field Trip Program. But now it's in Indonesia, but slowly will grow to China, different places. So I try to let the young generation to experience the location, the environment. That is what I'm trying to do in the past year.
Professor Mark, I could not agree more with what you said, but to latch on this and on what Jonas said, we are not in a bubble, and the current global political climate leads here in our area, especially as this experience, to a huge new discussion about what is East, what is West, and and even more complicated with using the term Asian and Western as mixing up, and meaning with Asian actually only a very smart part of Asia, of this huge area that is a geographical term. So the question for me now is whether with our work here in Southeast Asia, which is multilingual, multi-ethnic, multicultural, all influence melting pot, whether we should actually actively step up to drive the definition again more to what you said, Professor Mark, so that these terms are not valid in that form. What does Jonas say about that?
The thing is that we are all human beings, and I remember one very bad experience I had when I was a student in Freiburg in Germany. Also, the impact there. I was in the library and I was reading Beethoven's Seventh Symphony, because it's a fantastic work, and it's a fantastic work, and you still learn a lot of textures from that work. And I was reading intently, and one of my classmates come in and tell me, why are you reading Beethoven? Why don't you do things on your own? And I said, what is my own? Is Beethoven not mine? I'm a human being. I mean, I had to assert that, because this notion of you're Eastern and you're what, this is actually a Western anxiety. It's a Western anxiety, this delineation between Eastern and Western. This is a Western anxiety. This is yours and this is ours. You remain in that place, and this is you. And I think some people in Asia have absorbed that anxiety. And so we should free ourselves from that anxiety and think of Beethoven as Beethoven, or think of Dieter Mach as Dieter Mach, or Matthias Spalinger as Matthias Spalinger, or Jose Maceda as Jose Maceda, or whoever, Jonas Baez, Kong Kee Yong. Those people, they're people, and we're all people. I think this is the time, since we're in the pandemic, this is a time for us to realize that East and West, they don't exist anymore. We are all in the pandemic. And something like this can happen, which will cancel out whatever whatever delineations we have had in our minds. We're all human beings. That's the only thing that we should remember now. The fact we're trying to be human, that's why we're doing this.
Let me just add one thing, Jonas. That experience that you had in Freiburg was probably around 91, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Yeah. I think it would be different date as well.
Yeah, now it's so different. But because I was one of the few Asian students, so you know very well the color and all that stuff. And people were asking me, "Do you smoke kretek?" I said, "I know the person who smoked kretek." Yeah, that was you. And there, yeah, and things like those. and I was reading Beethoven. And why don't you do things on your own? Oh, and I said, what the fuck is my? Oh, sorry. What is my own? What is mine?
So what is beat?
Dieter, I would like to add something here. As you said, that's 30 years ago, but I hear from people from Southeast Asian composers living and studying in Europe that they still today get asked these questions. So there is still a long way for us to get this out of people's mind or to change people's perspective on these kind of things. So this is unfortunately not done.
Well, I don't want to say that's not done, but I think things might have been changing, and at least in my realm, that doesn't happen.
Yes, I would attest to that, because I come to Lübeck as a guest professor, and I see this multicultural class, which was not so familiar to me when I was in Freiburg. I mean, I have a bunch of Koreans there, but they're all Koreans, and then all the gender, but I see this multicultural class of Dieter. We have somebody from China, somebody from Indonesia, and it was something very different, and it actually creates this or erases this notion of schema. It's just people studying, and everybody has access to whatever. I mean, we should try to look for things that perhaps, while acknowledging differences as nuances of personalities, of peoples, of realities, of phenomenologies, we should also think that there are things that keep us together as a community. In fact, this notion of community, in fact, must be more important now, that given this pandemic situation. We are a community now. I mean, this is even more fantastic.
I guess I would love that this conversation can continue over some beers or some drinks, I guess. And this is something that we actually miss from this kind of virtual reality in some way, that we can.
But there is a virtual drink plugin in Zoom. You get the update.
I invite you all to my wine cellar here. If you are here.
We should have our own bottles next to us next time that we do this.
We should go to Dieter house to get the bottle.
Oh yeah.
So thank you guys so much, and thank you all. Actually, if any of the attendees who stay with us from this morning, you see that from our first guest, Alan Pearson, he's a conductor who mentioned about the ideas of how conductors changing the way they're working now, instead of someone who directed things to happen into someone that actually create things. And then we have some graphic designer who was thinking about working outside of the circles. So just to have some interference and how one can actually go beyond the comfort zone. And you actually kind of like repeated that this afternoon, starting with Professor Dieter Mark, who mentioned about the philosophical reflections about the current time and how aware, what kind of awareness we need to have before being mastered by all this kind of virtual. And thank you for a wonderful example from Peter and Dylan as well, about like how the limitation actually helped them creating more things in this kind of difficult times. And of course, Professor Jonah Baez and Professor Dr. Kee Yong, who actually was at the start in 2009, introduced all of us here to get together. That's why it's the reason that why we are all meeting today, and we are all panelists today. So thank you, Kee Yong, thank you, Jonah, thank you, Professor Dieter Mark, and thank you for everyone that is joining us today. And please stay with us. We have more virtual cabaret in this evening with Dr. Sean David, and then also tomorrow. So thank you very much again. And next time, bring your bottles and we'll celebrate. Okay.
JD.
Thank you, Anutai.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye, Anasai. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
See you again soon. Let's do this again.
Yeah, let's do it again. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Bye-bye.